everybody. My name is Ksenia Parkhatskaya. Hello from Barcelona, and I'm delighted to answer a couple of questions so that you get to know me better. It's very difficult to describe my own dancing style. I think somebody else from the outside would actually put better adjectives probably at it. But maybe I can describe it from the inner feeling more. So for me, this is something connected to the flow and melody. This would be two words I would definitely use close to my dancing. I like when things flow like water. I like to go from one movement to another movement, like the wind of change. And I'm definitely quite a person of melody. I love to follow melodic phrases. Some of my favorite musicians that I listen to a lot, like Oscar Peterson, Red Garland, even the people who I'm working with and dancing to these days, like Mark Martin, the pianist, one of my favorite pianists, Gabriela Margand, Barcelona-based Catalan saxophone player. These are the people who, for me, are so powerful in melodies. They create things that I can sing, and if I can sing it, then I can do it. And this is one phrase that I very often tell to my students in the class. If you can sing it, you can do it. So when we, for instance, learn a new movement or a new rhythm or a new dancing phrase, I always encourage my dancers to, instead of counting, to remember the melody, because vocalese, our voice, it has so much depth, so much layers, so much power. It doesn't only have, let's say, the length and not only some rhythmical phrase. It as well has tone, color, richness, pitch, and as well intonation. How does that develop? If I say pa-ka-tu, ka-tu, ka-tu, ka-ta, that's one thing. If I say pa-ka-tu, ka-ka-tu, ka-ta, I did change the melody a little bit, but you can see what I mean with the accentuation and brightness of your voice, the intonation. You can immediately bring a lot more qualities, a lot more layers to your dance. And for me, this is what melodies give me. They give me all of these rich layers. So melody and flow would be something I would definitely describe as my dance. As well, maybe I would describe my dance as adventurous. My dance style, as well as my dance personality, because curiosity. I love to try new things. I love to pick different cherries from other trees, and I'm not an orthodox solo jazz dancer only. I see dance as dance, and it's one big galaxy where you can find so many different ways of how your body can express itself, or how you, through your body, which is your instrument, can express music. And there's so much richness in the music, and musicians as well. They use many different tools from different styles. I'm sure each musician use all of the bagage of things that they like, heard since they were a child, or tried or learned or played, So it's the same for me. I try to use all the bagage I have, but as well I want to acquire new bagage. For me, it's interesting to try, for instance, whacking proposes me this beautiful way of moving hands. This is the way in whacking people express themselves, their emotions, their movement, their music. I want to invite that into my dance. Flow work proposes this beautiful way of using gravity and using floor, not only for standing and walking on it, but as well to, touch it with different parts of your body and find different ways of using that plane of your body and of space around you. And so on and so forth. So this curiosity and this adventurous spirit for me is as well a part of the definition of my style. And I heard some people would say things like, Ksenia doesn't dance authentic solo jazz, or they would call my dance contemporary. I wouldn't really call my dance that, but to be honest, it might be true that for different people, depending on from which perspective they're looking at my dance, they might see that there's a lot of things that I use, a lot of different tools that I use that I really appreciate and I want to invite into my dance. I want it to be rich and multidimensional, and as much as I can, really. The second part of the question was, how did you develop it? Well, I developed it by living my life. by living my life, by loving dance, by loving to dance, loving to move my body and being curious. I started dancing when I was 6 years old. Well, actually, I started dancing way before that. At 6 years old, my parents saw me bouncing off the walls and decided, we're going to bring this girl to some dance classes. And, that's it. Every day of my life since then has had to do something with the body movement and dance. I was a ballroom dancer. I was in a professional ballroom dance scene for 9.5 years. And then it was modern and contemporary jazz and blah, 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 many, many other things. But I developed it by living my pathway. And you know what? In my pathway, I realized I was guided by my nose of passion, I was always trying to be smelling where my passion is, like sniffing and be intuitive and listening to myself. What am I passionate about right now? What do I want to do? Because I know for sure it is your heart and it is your honest, thirsty, hungry curiosity that makes you move mountains. You know what I mean? Of course, at some point when dance became more, for instance, in ballroom dancing, when I was competing, I'm a very responsible person, so I was training hard and drilling and all that. So of course, like diligence and responsibility came as well and joined my big passion. But first always came passion. It was never like, well, I have to do this now. Actually, whenever I felt in myself, I have to do something, usually it became an obstacle for me, or I was straight away, calling out my own ambulance and going, what's going on? Why is it the have to do now? Why is it just a burden, just a work? Where did the heart, the passion, the love go away? Do I need to immediately save myself and find something that will sparkle in me and ignite in me this passion again? So, that's all I can say about the process of developing my style. On a more concrete level as well, up to today, I'm 34 years old now, and up to today, and I hope I will continue after, I as well went and learned a lot of things. Like I took other dance classes of other styles, and I always thought it's very important to stay, to keep being a student. Of course, there's moments in your life when you stop taking classes for whatever reason. There's seasons of your life, but keep going to discovering new styles, new dances, new inspiration, because each other dance, a choreography can open for you a big universe, Go learn from other people. And I mean, open up your mind, try, this is what I was telling to myself, try this, put yourself in a new situation. And in the new situations with fresh air, fresh look, fresh perspective, wow, you can get your passion back, you can get inspiration, you can really see things from a different angle. And you keep developing this way. Oh, I'm absolutely with my hands and legs for inspirations out of the world of dance as well as in the world of dance. The world is so beautiful. A tree with some bird can inspire you for a dance. And I'm serious because maybe some of you know that I love to imitate animals, for instance, like chicken. And now I'm working on a sheep show. So, for me, inspiration for movement, which I had to explore the movement of a chicken, the movement of a sheep, the movement of a drunk person, the movement of something else, of the trees, of the clouds, and all of this. I mean, if you're curious about the world, if you can see the world as a magic place where everything is an inspiration, like a child, a child can get curious with a leaf or a bee. So can we, if we keep our curiosity open up. Everything can be inspiration as well as everything can be not an inspiration. Depends on which state of mind and soul you are. Of course, there are periods where, you think, oh, I don't know, I don't feel inspiration for dance. I feel like I've done everything in jazz for myself that I could have done that's interesting. And of course, passes maybe 1 week and then you realize you go to some class or you see some video all of a sudden or some dancer on Instagram, you go, oh my God, how could I have thought that, I knew it all. The world is so big and there's so many things that you don't know that you can always find inspiration if you search for it, if you just wait for a little while. And actually, you know what I'm going to tell you? Sometimes my biggest inspirations comes from outside of the world of dance, from a costume, from an actor, from some film, from some atmosphere in music. And then I start to imagine things, and it leads me to me. It leads me to me, and the way I live and express myself maybe is something to do with the movement or through dance. So being open-minded and seeing juicy, tasty things everywhere around. Wow, it's very difficult. Just one thing. I don't know. There's so many different types of people. To each different type of people, you convey different thing. I think I convey follow passion and always make sure that the fire in your heart and in your soul is flickering. It's there, because for me, the dullness and the death of everything comes when there's no brightness, no sparkle in the eye, no desire for things, no thirst or hunger for life. You know, probably all of us has been in a state when you maybe don't even want to wake up or get off. Once you woke up, you don't want to get up from the bed, and everything seems a bit dull, and you don't really care about anything, and everything kind of tastes the same. Those kind of periods of, you can call depressive, or maybe just sad, or maybe you're just fully exhausted and tired, and this is the period. These are the sad states for me, the sad seasons where maybe you need to rest, but then back again to find and to awaken and lighten up that vivid fire in yourself, the passion. And if you don't feel the passion, search for it. Maybe you just need to look, 5 degrees this direction, and you will find your passion. And when you have it, wow, everything really changes, colors everywhere. You want to do things, you want to get up. And of course, it's not only passion that guides us in the world. Obviously, you know how they say, even your favorite things, even in your hobbies, there's 70% of work and 30% of pleasure. I don't know about the percentages, really, depends. Maybe it changes every day. But it's true that in every passion, that if you go for it, you say, I love dance, I'm so passionate about it, I want to do this choreography, I want to compete, I want to get better. There comes as well responsibilities, come work, come diligence, come things that you need to do. Maybe you don't 100% want and passionate about that specific thing that you need to do. Let's say drill some turns, or I don't know, practice and do Pilates to develop your abs. The thing that will bring you to your passion closer, bring you to your dream of dancing closer, but maybe you don't want to do it. So this is where passion feeds things that we need to do and kind of have to do, the work part of it maybe, yeah? So this would be my advice. Wow. Well, take a chance. Take a chance and join the class. I can't guarantee that 100% of the people will 100% love me and my classes, because I'm not €100 bill for everyone to love my way. But you might. You might connect. It depends. Again, different people. Things that I transmit in my classes that are so important for me are about feelings, are about connection to the body, connection to the universe outside, depth and, connection to the history, but as well connection to your own individual voice. Because I do believe in dance, especially in jazz dance, with all of the diversity that jazz holds in itself. It's so important to find something. What is you? What is the real, true you? And I can only guide you, I can only suggest some things for you to find that pathway, but then it's your job. As well, I suppose some things that I personally, as a teacher, realize is my thing. I love to explain things in a very associative world, kind of imaginarium. I like to connect to different images and associations to find the different qualities of the movement. And I like to be holistic about my dance. For me, it's definitely not only about the steps and rhythms and kick, ball change, and here you go. It's really about your whole being dancing, and whole body, but of course your whole spirit, your being. Without it, what kind of dance we're talking about? We're talking about physical training. But try me. Maybe I would like to actually call it a jazz culture, which is a little bigger name than swing culture. But let's stick to swing culture. It's so many things. Swing culture is people, festivals, it's music, it's history, it's a style, it's clothes, it's jazz attitude. It's past and it's present, and as well it's future. It's so really many things. For me, I'm so grateful that I discovered this world of swing dance in my life, because I've been in it for what, like 12, 13 years now. And it's funny, when you don't know about it, you feel like it doesn't exist. But then when you find out about it, it's like, woo, another universe in a galaxy. So I'm very grateful to have found it, because I traveled the world and connected to so many people across the world through this language of swing culture. So we maybe spoke completely different languages, like, English, Russian, Korean, Polish. But we connected through dance. And sometimes we didn't really need to speak. We just needed to smile and, trade solo jazz dance or do a Lindy Hop or something like this. As it's as well culture of a lot of passionate people today coming together to explore the past, digest it through the present of who they are and what it is in this current world, and bring it somewhere in the future. Like we don't know where we're going to bring it. And there's so many different attitudes of how people treat swing culture. Some people are really traditionalists and want to, constantly bring what has happened in 1930s, 1920s, 1940s, and carry through the time, which is so beautiful that we have these people who are doing this work for us, keeping this culture as much as possible unchangeable in today's world. And there's other people who are maybe trying to push the boundaries and taking something what we had in the past, learning about what people have done in 30s, 40s, and then accumulating with what it is today, which is so beautiful. Some people are even pushing it further, looking so much forward. What would be the music? What is music becoming? And how can we dance to that music in the front? So it's really beautiful to be in that type of diversity of different opinions and different views and different inputs. So it's important for me that it really exists, because me, with my passion for swing dance styles, for jazz culture in general, I can be here blossoming and share that with people as well. And you can see that in today's world, where we have this online platforms, and things are not only alive in live format, the festival, but as well in online formats with all the different channels and concerts online, but as well online schools. Like me, myself, I have an online school, Secrets of Solo, and through that I'm able to share my contribution to jazz, to the dance world, with the world, and people are able to connect this way. So I find it very important in that regard, that this is something we can enrich our lives with, instead of just maybe ploofing on the couch, watching a TV. We can explore that beautiful, creative part of humanity through swing, through jazz. I don't think I can actually separate some parts of myself from it. Now I feel deeply, deeply connected with so many different parts, because as well in my journey of swing dancing, I went through a part where I was in deep love and deep research of 1920s and all the flapper stuff, and then it was all about the 30s and 40s and the bebop. And now I'm at this place where I love to mix things. I love to explore something about today. Is amazing to know the history, not only of 1930s and 40s, way before that. Like, for instance, that's what inspired me to go to Senegal and study West African movement and study West African spirituality and traditions, because for me, these are the things that then see through the dances in 30s and 40s. There's just such a further away, deeper culture and roots, but at the same time still here. It's still here. It's like inseparable in some way. There you go. It's amazing that Easy Swing has been doing this work, very much needed. And I'm sure myself, like many other people, would love to live in the world of equality. where everybody is treated with love, kindness, respect, and acceptance. From my personal experience, I can say I feel very grateful to not have ever felt in swing community being discriminated because I'm a woman, or in my life in general. So I find myself in a very, you can say, lucky or privileged, or just my situation. Definitely in some parts of the world, this fight has to continue. But maybe I don't want to use the word fight, because somehow it connects with anger. And I think we should do things as much as possible through the means of love, because anger and fight breeds more anger and fight. Then it just spirals downwards. It's very hard to get out of this place. And maybe at the end of this road, you become bitter and righteous. So trying to find a place where you can reach those beautiful, wonderful things for every person in this world, from a place of compassion, kindness, and love.